Lincoln eats it up. Beautiful pursuit there, right in the middle, just completely destroyed the call there.
Yeah.
Rohan Goldburn.
He's going to lose 1 yard on that play.
And when you get a nose tackle or you get an interior defensive lineman that's able to just get some penetration like that, Tony, it's going to be very difficult. I don't care if you're running, you're passing, or you're punting.
Yeah.
Any kind of movement there, the way Goldburn broke that up, is going to be hard to establish. It's going to be a loss of 2 on the play, set up a second down and long. So the visitors, 8:01 here, already 4 minutes gone in this opening corner. And it's going to be the end around on the reverse once again, finding the perimeter, once again close to the first down, Tony. And that seems to be their most successful variation out of this formation, is where they're able to get the speedster Caden Knight, the senior, out in space.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they are seeing something on that left side of the Lincoln, of the Lincoln defense, and they're taking advantage of it and picking up some positive yards at that.
And Tony, of course, always in the mindset for a disciplined defense. Of course, Coach Tyson known for his defensive mindset. You got to stay sharp, Tony, because you know the pass is coming. You just don't know when. Usually takes about 12, 15 runs to get there. Another rush on the left-hand side, and this one's taken care of once again by the Lincoln defense.
The Lincoln defense got all the penetration that they needed on that one and blew it up for about a 2-yard loss.
So they're going to mark it here at the 34. Need to get to the 42, so 8 yards to gain here. Side marker says second down. They huddle up back at the 25-yard line.
And I tell you one thing about it, Jupe, whenever this is a run-oriented game, the clock continues to run fast.
It'll make it a quick one, man. Takes away a couple possessions, and I think that's to the benefit of Fort Walton, you know, a team that's only averaging 9 points per contest.
That's right.
It suits them to keep the ball out of Lincoln's hands as much as possible, so this is going to be their recipe for success, Tony.
Well, so far so good, because it brings up a third down, maybe about 2.5, 3 yards to go for a first. As you said, they've got to get to the 42-yard line. Right now, the ball is marked at the 39. Third down for Fort Walton. Let's see if they can convert this and keep this thing moving.
Absolutely.
Because the one thing that they do want to do, Jupe, is keep the ball out of Perry Fisher's hands.
Absolutely. Of course, the Lincoln offense only scored less than 30 points one time this season. That was a 14-10 defensive slugfest out of Gadsden County. Ball's on the ground. It's a fumble. Under center, diving on top of it, Fort Walton Beach quarterback as Hill covers it up. And it's going to set up a fourth down. Decision time for Coach Petrie, and it looks like they're going to bring on the punting unit and Zeke Oswald back onto the field here for Fort Walton Beach. And he blasts it away, a good roller on the far sideline, and it will go out of play. Referee's going to mark it at the 22, where Lincoln will start over. So the Duke doesn't get a chance to get his hands on that one, Tony, and bring in the Lincoln offense. So now you've had your first look here at Fort Walton Beach, Tony, so know what to expect. Here they're going to try to hit you on the interior and then try to bounce it out widthwise. And then, like we said, Tony, just waiting for that moment where they try to break out the pass. Because typically those are make-it-break momentum shifters, Tony. Big chunk plays or potential for the defense to take it away with a big interception. So it'll be important to watch out here. But we'll see if Trojans shook off a little rust here, Tony, from that big matchup against Rickards last week.
Yeah, that had to be an emotional game for, you know, being a rivalry game such as it is. And to come out victoriously, man, that's why your mind has got to be celebrated for a minute and then get ready for the next one.
Absolutely. Keep on trucking. So we'll see if they're still live and at it, Tony, here. Potential trap game in the mix. No disrespect to the visitor, Tony, but this is a team fighting for playoff positioning and another team that looks to be mathematically eliminated. Going deep is Fisher over the middle. And looks like that one is incomplete.
Yeah, the pass wasn't intended for Jalen Oliver. He had 2 defensive backs back there, and they did an excellent job of breaking on the ball and just swatting it away.
And they must have seen something that they liked on film, Tony, because already 2 deep shots.
That's right.
One on each drive taken so far here for the Lincoln Trojans. So they're looking to go at that secondary. Like we talked about, Ducatoro and Petway, some of the big weapons on the perimeter, as it looks like Alexander will have a rush towards the middle. He's going to be brought down by Tobic, the 5'9" junior middle linebacker. Set up a 3rd down here for Lincoln, Tony, 3rd and about 9.
Yeah, so far, Fort Walton Beach is led by that great, big defensive front. Is not allowing Alexander to break free, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Fisher as well. And the DBs are doing what they have to do. So let's see what happens. 3rd down and 10 for Lincoln.
4 wide. Watch Ducatoro. He's in the slot. Motion coming from near side to far side is Oliver. Looking over to the left is Fisher. In off the slant over the 40-yard line. Good reception there. Pass caught well by the Lincoln Trojans. So it's a Lincoln 1st down. Go ahead and move the chains. Actually, number 12 on the reception, Garrett Copeland, a 6'1" senior. So on senior night, big catch, senior-to-senior connection here on the near side. So
well, that's exactly what Lincoln needed to get out of that hole.
So able to move the chains here for the Trojans. Fisher, once again, going motionless. He's going to send Copeland. It's going to be a give to Alexander up the middle. He's into enemy territory, Tony. Rips off about 16. Does Alexander.
Well, I tell you what, Alexander is a big kid, man. He stands 6'1", 185 pounds, and he's only a junior, and he runs like a freight train for true.
Absolutely.
Alexander picks up about another 13 yards. It brings up a 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Ball marked at the 45-yard line of Fort Walton.
Clock still rolling, Tony. 4:15 and counting here to go in the 1st. We're already 2/3 of the way done the quarter.
It's going to be blitzed.
Or 3/4, excuse me. Fisher getting out of trouble. Talked about the legs that he has, Tony, and the dual threat ability. Does Fisher, and a phenomenal scramble out of trouble. Able to pick up the big 1st down. And Tony, back-to-back 1st downs here for the Trojans.
Yeah, that picked up about 13 or 14 yards for Fisher, and you can tell this guy has speed. He's going to be a great asset to the Maryland Terrapins up there. He stands 6'3", 175 pounds, and that boy can run.
So split it out. They're going to cut it to a 3 wide here, Tony. Tight end is going to be H-back left. Give to Alexander. He's looking for that left side. Nice cutback. Jumping into the next level, Tony, at the 25-yard line. Gain of 5 on 1st down. So an adventurous jump skyward, Tony, for Alexander.
Yeah, it was. Brought down by Donald Pollard. He's a senior as well. And had he not put his hands on him, it could have been dangerous for the Fort Walton Beach football team.
Absolutely. So Lincoln continue to roll down the field. They're going to go back to a 5 wide look. Motion coming here. Fake to Petway. They're going to give it to Alexander in traffic. Making bodies miss, and he'll dive forward to the 21, just short of the 1st down marker.
Tackle made by MJ Alidia. It's the cornerback, stands 5'9", 155 pounds, and he was able to put his hands and wrap up Alexander. So here we go.
H-back right here, quick hitter on the screen for Fisher. That's the Duke. The Duke Toro out in field position, makes his man miss. Football's on the ground, but it falls out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. So probably didn't want to fumble there, Tony, but got a couple yards out of it, and it took a nice Lincoln High School bounce there.
Well, I tell you what, whenever Ducatero gets that ball, man, all you can see is, Mama, there go that man again. I'm telling you, this guy is just awesome, man. I'm expecting him to go up to the next level as well. He has great hands. He has excellent foot speed, foot movement, and picked up the 1st down for the Lincoln Trojans.
Motion coming from the far side, give on the end around, and good wrap up by the secondary. I believe it was Petway on the rush and just surging forward. That's Tobic again, Tony, the 5'9" junior. We called him out a couple times now. Really making some work here in the early going for the visitors.
Yeah, I tell you what, he was just able to break the penetration of that, to penetrate that offensive line and tackle Alexander in the backfield.
Yeah, very impressed by his play so far. Look over to the left, does Fisher. He's going to go for the end zone, a little too tall. over here to the near side. He was looking for Cedric Madry Jr., the 6'3 senior, Tony, but a little too tall for the big wideout.
Yeah, they had a lot of smoke on it.
Woo, yeah, it did. That it did, Tony. So it's going to set up a 3rd down and goal to go here from the 10-yard line for Lincoln. So they'll check out the sideline, get the play call here. 4 wide again. We're going to go kind of a pseudo trips left. Here comes the motion. That's Ducatoro going near side to far side. Fisher looking over to his left, and he's able to hit another senior connection. Garrett Copeland into the end zone. Lincoln Trojans on the board first. 10 yards out, Tony. Fisher to Copeland.
Yeah, well, Copeland just had a little slant right over the middle, man, and was wide open. You can't leave a man like that wide open. You know what, Juke? We didn't hear a lot from Copeland last time that we saw Lincoln play, but he's making his presence known a lot tonight.
Absolutely. So they're going to bring on the field goal unit here for the extra point, Tony.
And it's good.
And the kick is good.
So there you go, 10-yard strike, Tony. Copeland from Fisher. So we're going to jump out for a quick commercial break. Lincoln 7, Fort Walton nothing. Come right on back. It's the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week here on the Tallahassee channel of Varsity Sports Network. Come right on.
Moss Acura is simply the best around, and this year our goal is to be the best Acura dealership in the nation. At Moss Acura, every vehicle features Moss Care, exclusive to Moss Acura. Moss Care provides added features and benefits to both protect and enhance your investment. Benefits such as lifetime oil changes, tire rotations, identity protection, and so much more. Plus, with all things being equal, our goal is to never lose your business over price with our best deal guarantee. Moss Acura, whatever it takes.
And we're back here for the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. Lincoln Trojans fresh on the scoreboard, Tony. 7-0 for the home team here on senior night. How about drive number 2, Tony, ending up in 6?
Well, I tell you what, it started off kind of slow because they pretty much had Lincoln trapped deep in their own territory, but Lincoln got it moving now, and it could be dangerous for Fort Walton.
Got the old train on the tracks, like you were saying,
Yep.
Tony. So kick deep, fielded about the 12-yard line, trying to make some moves in traffic. Is Fort Walton up to about the 27-28-yard line there on the return.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive return for the senior, Zeke Oswald. It's going to bring the ball up to about the 28-yard line for Fort Walton, and that's where they'll start their 3rd possession of the night.
There you go. So how about that, Tony? He's the kicker doing kickoffs, but he also does kick returns.
Yeah,
does
man.
Oswald. Impressive.
Yeah, he's an all-around man.
Getting after it. So he'll try to jumpstart the visitors here, Tony, as they get into that run-heavy formation. Of course, Parker Hill, senior quarterback, leading the guys back onto the field here. 10-holder number 5 and Knight, primary rushers here so far. The give is to the big bruiser right down
Absolutely,
the middle.
absolutely. It was given to number 11. He fooled you on that one. That was Caden Knight. Caden Knight was able to break a couple of tackles, arm tackles, and pick up the first down for Walton.
Yeah, that was my mistake.
Yeah, I know.
Faked out the cameraman too, Tony.
Faked out the exactly. The ball is going to be moved all the way up going to be moved all the way up to the 43-yard line for Fort Walton.
Absolutely. And
First and 10.
I thought Jareem Earl had the rock there, Tony. But
Yeah,
of course, they're doing pretty good on the outside, man. Pretty good on the outside with your boy, the speedster, Caden Knight. So first down again. A little breathing room for the visitors of Fort Walton. Here comes the end around again. The rush is going to get towards midfield. This time it's going to be Jack Tenholder, the junior slot back on that one.
Yeah, Jack Tenholder is a small guy. He was only 150 pounds, but I tell you what, he looks like he has some speed. He took that ball up until almost close to Lincoln territory. The ball is going to be spotted at the 49-yard line.
And tackled by your boy, Tony Raylan Wilson on the bring down here. It's going to be tackle number 90 for the season.
I tell you what, man, that guy's a tackling machine.
Yes, sir. One of the leaders here in the Big Bend. Split out, single receiver to the left is Ethan Davis, the junior, bunch formation. And here comes the big bruiser up the middle, Tony. No doubt about that one.
No doubt about that one for true. He moves the ball into Lincoln territory. And once again, I tell you what, this Fort Walton team is actually moving the ball on the ground. Haven't seen a pass attempt so far this game.
Have not. And of course, big bruiser Earl, Tony, only a freshman is the fullback.
Wow.
He's going to be a handful in a couple years. He's a good contrast to this perimeter game that they've had some success with Knight, Tony. Is Earl the fullback right down Main Street. So under center goes Parker Hill. Give is to Earl, and he's going to flush out to the left, and the freshman keeps the feet rolling. And Lincoln says, we've had enough. We're just going to pick this guy up off the ground, Tony. Take him the other way.
Yeah, try to get him out of here, but he picked up an extra 4 or 5 yards on that play.
Yeah.
And that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 5 for Walton as they continue to just matriculate down the field. Ball is going to be marked right now at the 30, looks like about the 37-yard line, 38-yard line as we have a water break. It's time for a break.
There you go. Take us to the end of the first quarter here. So we're going to jump out for a quick commercial break, and on the other half, we will jump back for quarter number 2 here at the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week from Gene Cox Stadium. The hometown Trojans, 7. The visitors from Fort Walton Beach, 0.
Moss Nissan is simply the best around when it comes to selling or trading your vehicle. Right from the comfort of your home, office, or even your cell phone, you can get top dollar for your vehicle in seconds. Just visit us online, enter your current vehicle's license plate number, VIN number, or year, make, and model, and receive top dollar in seconds. We'll even come to you with a check in hand. It's that simple. Turn your car into a pile of cash today. Moss Nissan, whatever it takes.
Somebody is whistling, man.
And we're welcome back here to the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. We're going to flip sides of the field here. Fort Walton Beach on offense. 2nd down and moderate for the visitors. They're going to be a rush. What we thought was up the middle, but they're going to stretch out to the perimeter. It's Knight again. And a good tackle in space there. And it's going to be number 22, Robert Wilson. Of course, brother of Raylan.
Yeah, Caden Knight thought he had something going on, but I tell you what, he was wrapped up pretty ceremoniously.
He almost slipped out of that one, Tony. Those high tackles are very tough, so good job by Wilson to finish it. But the elusive Knight almost slid underneath that one, Tony.
It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 2 yards to go. Ball marked at the 39-yard line. Let's call it the 36-yard line.
36, yep. So motion coming here, give up the middle, the bruiser Earl, 1st down and then some, inside the 30. Feet still
the ball
moving,
is
but
taken
a takeaway. Lincoln going the other way. Oh, no!
My God.
It's a Trojan on Trojan crime there, Tony. They got tripped up. It was Tamari Wright coming away with the fumble recovery, Tony, and he tripped legs with another man in black, and it would have been a defensive touchdown, but a great takeaway and heads up for the Lincoln Trojans, able to return it over 25 yards, Tony, and start this drive in Fort Walton Beach territory, 1st down.
Well, I tell you what, that was an excellent play, and he just ripped the ball out of the fullback's hands, actually, and was able to rumble down the field, tripped over his own man. Otherwise, he would have been gone for 6 points.
Absolutely. Maybe that's the way to do it, Tony. It's harder to tackle the big guy. Let's just take away the football from him. Fisher wants a big toss. Going to the next level. It's a huge reception. And it's Jalen Oliver on the big reception there for the Trojans. Tony, that's going to be about 35 yards, and Lincoln back in the red zone.
Just like that, Jupe, it doesn't take long for Perry Fisher to sling that ball down the field, and he was able to pick up his big receiver for a big gain.
There you go, a little flick of the wrist from number 1 here, Tony. Rush on up to the left side. Is going to be a new tailback.
That looks like Tamari Wright. I'm sorry.
It's going to be Stevens, number 26, the junior.
Demetric Stevens, of course, junior, running back. He's going to take the ball inside the 10-yard line. Excuse me.
So second down to go here for the Trojans. They can get a first down by getting to the 2 or closer. Oliver coming in motion. Petway also coming in motion as they flip sides of the field. They might have just been on the wrong sides here, Tony. Little opposite game here. Throw on over to the left-hand side. Quicker to Oliver. Football's on the ground, scooped up. But they're going to say incomplete pass, a bang-bang play. And over on the far side, the visitors from Fort Walton are going to take too kindly to that, Tony.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, he read that play perfectly, the DB for Fort Walton, and was able to hit him as the ball came there, jarred loose for an incomplete pass. Absolutely. It's going to bring up a third down. The ball is going to be marked inside the 10-yard line. Seems like at about the 8-yard line. And as you said, Jupe, they can get to the 3, pick up a first.
I believe that was Nicholas McTair on the far side there with the quick reactions for Fort Walton and breaking up that short screen pass. 4 wide, snap on the ground. Fisher picks it up over the middle, and they've been living big on that left side, Tony. Yep. Another touchdown. This one, Oliver from the hand of Fisher from about 8 yards out, and Trojans going to double the delight here, up to 13-0, 2-possession game.
10 minutes left in the second quarter. And Lincoln, with that swinging gate, point after attempt.
Of course, loosen them up here, see if they get the obvious mismatch, Tony, and then if not, Creek Carter will bring the boys back in for the regular PAT attempt. So settle in. Here's snap on the way, booming kick right down Main Street. Good hold by Joseph Sabisky. And just like that, Trojans take it from 7 to 14. 2-touchdown advantage over the visitors here for the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. We're going to jump out for a quick commercial break. Come right on back. We've got some more action for you here. It's Lincoln and Fort Walton Beach.
Is Sports Thread, and this is the new free Sports Thread app, changing recruiting forever.
Once again, here we go. Know the name, know the flow.
The first social network made for athletes, where you can show your talent.
Thought I was weak, huh? You ain't see the work I put in all week, huh?
And where you can be seen by athletes, fans, and coaches nationwide. Upload all your stats to the app. Get exposure to college coaches. Get clout. And get certified with a check mark that will change your life. Join the squad. Download the Sports Thread app today. Sports Thread, it's always free.
And back here for the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. After the extra point, Carter going to give us lift off here from the 40-yard line. He's going to be kicking back to Hill and Oswald, 3 and 9 respectively for Fort Walton Beach. Carter gives it a boom. This one will be fielded right about the 14-yard line over on the far side by Hill, who's the quarterback, and he gets tackled by the old turf monster right about the 30-yard line. They're going to spot him, I'd say about 28, 29 there, Tony?
Yeah, about the 29-yard line. That's where Fort Walton is going to take over their 4th possession of the night. And what Fort Walton wants to do is keep Perry Fisher and the boys off the field. Now, you know that last possession that they had, they were actually moving the ball quite well until the untimely takeaway by the DBs for Lincoln High School, and was able to cash it in for 7 points.
Absolutely. So, of course, the one turnover turned into the touchdown for Lincoln Trojans. And, of course, can't do that when you're trying to do the upset special on the road here. Rush on the perimeter, trying to get it back. Knight putting in a lot of work for that 2-yard gain, Tony, but able to get positive, and I think a job well done for Knight there. Wilson on the bring down. Robert Wilson, that is. Of course, you got Robert, 22, Raylan, number 3 here, defensively for the Trojans. Tony, what do you think of these uniforms for Lincoln?
Well, I tell you what, they are beautiful uniforms. Kind of difficult for me up here in the press box to see the numbers. But, you know, I have that problem every week, Jude.
There you go. Under center, Hill going to get going. They're going to be 4 wide. Hill, Earl, the only tailback back there. Give is to him. Going off the right-hand side over the 35, tumble down to the 37. And it'll set up a very short 3rd down conversion. And the freshman picking up a good gain. And how about the little wrinkle there, Tony? The visitors popping out, going 4 wide, but they're going to keep it on the ground.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, that's what they do. They run the ball, and they have not attempted a pass so far this game. Staying true to their nature. 8:37 left in the halftime, before halftime.
Here in the second quarter, Tony, so almost 16 minutes of game action already here and gone. So bunch it up under center. Hill once again gives to the fullback, or so we thought, but he's going to pop out and keep it himself.
Yeah.
And get the first down and then some over the 45. Good pickup by Hill, who's a very athletic senior quarterback, Tony.
Yeah, I tell you what, Hill is running that option with perfection on that particular play. Able to pick up the first down and had a lot of people fooled on the field.
Absolutely. That is one thing. When they get out in space, Tony, they are very elusive. Of course, it's tough living down there in the trenches. It's almost like when they get a little fresh air, it's a rejuvenation, going to the next level. So Hill once again going under center. H-backs both sides. Fullback Earl behind him will get the rush. Stiff arm, and then he's met by 4 Trojans 2 yards in front of the line of scrimmage. And putting in the bulk of that one, Goldborn trying to hold the line there for Lincoln, getting some help from his buddies, Julius Darity and Robert Wilson coming in late to the party there, Tony.
Well, I tell you what, Earl is one big kid. As we said, he's only a freshman. He stands 5'10", 204 pounds. He's a big load to bring down, and he was able to pick up a hard-earned 1 yard on that play. Brings up a 2nd down and 9 for Fort Walton. Ball is spotted right at about the 40, looks like about the 46-yard line.
Absolutely. When you're going against a ferocious running back like that, Tony, you got to bring your buddies with you. It's a give once again to the fullback, but this time it is a new back, Ben Harkins, the junior. He's officially listed as a tight end on the depth chart there, Tony, but falling into the fullback position. Is going to set up a 3rd down and short for Fort Walton, which is exactly what the Vikings want, Tony. 3 yards to go, and when you're in a primary rushing offense, you got to stay on schedule, man.
Well, I tell you what, that tight end and that fullback can be interchangeable positions. As you can tell, they both have to be big and they both have to be strong and powerful.
You got to be willing to block to do that too, Tony.
You got to be willing to block.
So you got offset backfield going here to the left. The give once again to the tight end who's able to move the chains there. Harkins on the rush and a 1st down here for Fort Walton, and so they're on the Lincoln side of the field again, Tony.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, this is how the Vikings were moving the ball on their previous possession before that untimely takeaway. They are moving the ball, and they're doing it well. As I think we have our first water break of the game.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and jump out for a quick commercial break with the boys here, Tony. Here at the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. Come right on back. More second half action. Lincoln, Fort Walton.
There's not a lot of places you can go where exactly what they put on their signs is exactly what you get in your food. So many people think that the way I eat and the way I train and a lot of things I do in life are because of sports. I want to be as healthy 50 years from now because every day that God gives me, I want to make the most of that. Clean juice, healthy, fast, organic food.
And we're back at the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week here in Tallahassee, Gene Cox Stadium, Fort Walton Beach, visiting the hometown Lincoln Trojans. Hill for Fort Walton Beach will hand off to his fullback here. Ben Harkins is going to be jammed up well by this Lincoln defense. And once again, Goldborn and Darity and others on the Lincoln line, would have become the typical customers, Tony, with Terrell Dudley in the mix as well, jamming up that rush there. Loss of 1 officially.
Well, that's one of the few times that the Lincoln defense has been able to slow this train down that the Vikings are moving, man. They are moving the ball. Just have to make sure that you keep possession of the ball and take care of the ball.
So there you go. I'm going to keep it rolling here. 2nd down and 11 officially. Hill is going to give out to the give out and a little bit of space. 1st down and then some. Rip of about 15 out on the perimeter. Good rush by 10-holder. And the junior, once again, Tony, a little bit of breathing space on the perimeter and a good pickup here for Fort Walton.
Yeah, that's going to bring the ball all the way into Lincoln territory. The ball is going to be marked right at about the 20, looks like about the 27, 28-yard line. And the Vikings are continuing to move this ball down the field, man. As we said, we just have to take care of it in order to put some points on the board.
Absolutely. And, Tony, this could be huge for Fort Walton because if they can get down here and score, take 2 or 3 more minutes off the clock, and then get the ball back in the second half, as long as they don't let Lincoln score before halftime, they could try to tie this ball game up in half number 2. Oh, my goodness.
That's going to be a big body slam, Jupe, and I tell you what, that's going to be a 15-yard penalty as well. Personal foul.
Yep. You know,
they're going to call that a personal foul. You can't just pick the guy up and body slam him like that. Well, you can, but you may get penalized for it.
The yellow's coming out, Tony.
Yeah.
Probably back in your day, Tony, they letting that one go?
Yeah, they let that go, man.
Yep.
And you know what? They let that go on the college level sometimes as well.
Yep.
It just depends on the ferocity of that body slam. And that was one that was a heavy hitter.
Absolutely. So, of course, that's been over the last couple years, Tony, the FHSA, as far as under the blanket of their player safety, those are the kind of plays they've been watching recently. And so we'll see the official ruling, but I think we know the way this one's going.
Personal foul, dead ball against Lincoln. That's 15 yards. And unsportsmanlike against Fort Walton. They're going to be offsetting penalties. So I tell you what's going to happen. All that for naught.
So Darity back into the ball game is Iverson Davis on the defensive line. Is going to get a switch out here.
So we replay the down. And once again, the ball is going to be at the 28-yard line. And that's where the Vikings will have a 1st and 10 as they are moving towards the north side, the north end zone, here on the south side of Tallahassee, Gene Cox Stadium.
There you go.
Thursday night football, Jupe, and we've got a doubleheader coming in tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. First half of it here. Tomorrow, a little Lincoln Childs, Tony.
A little Leon Childs.
Yeah, I was testing you.
Okay.
7A. How about a little 7A rivalry game here to get the weekend going, Tony?
That's right.
Of course. Should be a big weekend, as you stated, Tony.
Yeah, a lot of things happening.
FAMU homecoming in town this week. And it's going to be a rush, and it's going to be fumble recovered by Fort Walton as Hill's able to dive on top of it, the quarterback.
Yeah, he just, that old monster turf, that old turf monster just tripped him down. That's going to be a loss of about 5 yards. The ball is going to be moved back to the 34-yard line. Brings up a 3rd down. They've got to get about 15 yards to get to, about the 17-yard line, Jupe, in order to pick up that first. May see our first passing play of the game. May.
I wonder what kind of range Oswald, number 9, has, Tony. Not really familiar with his kicking game and range, because if he can hit from about 45, they may keep this one on the ground, maybe try to get half this distance and just get him in range. But this is interesting, Tony. Also, you're talking about earlier, this would be huge if they could get into the end zone. We may be in 2-down territory here for Fort Walton because, like we said, if they could get one before halftime, get the ball back, you're looking at a totally different ball game.
Absolutely, and then just to remember, Jupe, that they are going to have the first possession coming out of the half.
There you go. Indeed. So the old 2-for-1, as they like to call it here, Tony.
Not a big contingent of fans have made that trip over to Tallahassee from the west coast, from the Panhandle. But I tell you what, they had severe thunderstorms all day long since yesterday out west, and that may have impacted the traveling plans for a lot of the fans coming out of Fort Walton.
Yeah, it's tough to get on the road on these Thursday nights, Tony.
Yeah,
Try
it
to
is.
pack out a 3+ hour drive, plus they lose an hour.
Yeah, it's a big time difference, 1 hour time difference as well.
So a little shotgun snap. They're going to
There
go
he goes.
read option. Here comes the rush, though. A little bit of real estate, shaking some tackles just outside the 20-yard line. Good rush there by Nicholas Mater, the cornerback. He's listed as a wide receiver. We saw him on corner make that big tackle here, Tony, but here we go. Very manageable 4th down on the table for Fort Walton, and it looks like they're keeping the offense on the field. Try to keep that clock ticking. We're now sub 3 minutes here in the first half.
Yeah.
Lincoln's only had the ball 3 times, Tony.
But they have 14 points to show for it.
There you go.
The play clock is running down to about under 10 seconds, 7 seconds of running, and they're taking their time. I'm sure that coach is going to call a timeout on this one.
And does. I believe that's the 2nd timeout, Tony, for...
That's going to be the 2nd timeout for Walton.
Walton here tonight. So we'll take a timeout with them. What do you say, man?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
So we're going to jump out here for a quick commercial break. Come back on the other side here. Varsity Sports Game of the Week, a little Thursday night special. Lincoln, Fort Walton. Come right on back. Fort Walton back, 4 wide receivers. Oh, read option, and Lincoln eats it up.
Yeah.
Trips up the quarterback in the secondary. It's going to be a turnover on downs, Tony.
Wow. Now, that was one of those plays that just had no chance from the get-go. Excellent penetration by the defensive front for Lincoln, and just blew it up in the backfield. And that has to be sort of disappointing for the Vikings.
Absolutely. That's kind of those tough ones, Tony, that you're looking for as a quarterback, as a running back. You're trying to make the right decision on 4th down, and then here comes the defensive line, and that ends the conversation pretty quickly. So Lincoln try to add an exclamation mark here on the end of the first half. Fisher, it looks like he's ready to go. Throws a fastball over the middle. Good defensive play. I think it's Tobick again, Tony.
Yeah, at least about 3 defensive backs had a chance to they saw the ball coming.
Absolutely. It's a good thing that Fisher put that one on a rope, Tony, because if that was a softball, that one may be going the other way. Trips to the right, 4 wide look. Fisher, quick hitter out to Ducatoro on the sideline to the 35 and ushered out of bounds here on the near side, and it'll be very close and should be a first down.
Yeah, it's going to be a Lincoln High School. Well, let's see. They're going to mark that short.
Wow, I think it's a rough spot here, Tony.
3rd down and 1. Fisher drops back, and he has a receiver all the way by himself. He was so open, Jupe, that he almost dropped it.
There you go, Kareem Finch. So there you go. So waited a little longer than they thought for the first down, Tony, but it does not matter. Finch getting out in space, and big chunk plays coming here for Lincoln, Tony. 40 seconds, they've already gone 40-plus yards. Here is going to be a rush to the left-hand side. A good 6-yard pickup on the ground there.
It looks like that's going to be
Sabisky.
Joseph Sabisky, of course, 5'11", 165-pound junior, was able to squeeze his way through that defensive line for about 6 yards.
Quick hitter, Fisher. Good reception here inside the 15, still carrying defenders. Mattery Jr. on the reception, and the big 6'3" senior ushers some of the defenders into the red zone, and Lincoln once again on the doorstep here, Tony, from the 12-yard line. Motion from Ducatoro. It's going to be a rush. Sabisky tackle for a loss.
Yeah.
And that's got to be the MVP of the defense, Tony. Tobic again.
Yeah, Tobic was just able to get a shoestring tackle on the running back for about a 5-yard loss. Ball is going to be marked back at about the 17-yard line.
Tobic is looking like Urlacher out there, Tony, getting the hands on the passes, chasing down runners, harassing the quarterback. He's been a bright spot here for Fort Walton in the middle of the field. That's been a bright spot for Lincoln, Tony.
Yeah.
Fisher's third touchdown pass here, and a nice dart. It's going to be a flag on the play, and it will be potentially coming back. So we'll see what the official ruling is here. It's going to be a holding on Lincoln, Tony.
Yeah.
So it would have been a Madry touchdown.
Well, I tell you what, you can tell the arm strength of Fisher, man. This guy is so impressive. He's 6'3", 175 pounds. But, you know, more importantly, they have so many weapons that are 6 feet and above. So he has a lot of tall weapons to throw to, with the exception of Ducatero, but he has speed on that one.
So here we go. Back him up, Tony. So put him at the 28-yard line. They'll go 4 wide here. 52.8 seconds remain in the half. Madry going to come in motion from right to left. So now 2-by-2 formation. Play clock at 2, 1. Just get this. Oh.
Didn't get it off? Oh, he called timeout.
I was going to say quick whistle by the referee staff, but they're able to squeeze in the timeout there, Tony. So we're going to jump out here with them. Here, Varsity Sports Summer High School Game of the Week. Lincoln Fort Walton Trojans up by 14.
Moss Acura is simply the best around, and this year our goal is to be the best Acura dealership in the nation. At Moss Acura, every vehicle features Moss Care, exclusive to Moss Acura. Moss Care provides added features and benefits to both protect and enhance your investment. Benefits such as lifetime oil changes, tire rotations, identity protection, and so much more. Plus, with all things being equal, our goal is to never lose your business over price with our best deal guarantee. Moss Acura, whatever it takes.
And welcome back to the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. Lincoln and Fort Walton Beach. If you're just joining us, Lincoln only had the ball 3 times, but scored 2 touchdowns, 7 points off turnovers. They just had a score wiped off the board, Tony. Cedric Madry thought he had his second touchdown reception of the evening, but not so for the time being. But Fisher wants to try to put it back on the board. A big reception to the Duke. Ducatoro inside the 5, and it'll be very close to the original first down. They said spotted at the 4.
And while they bring the chain gain up, the clock has stopped, 44 seconds, and now it's running.
There you go. So under 40 now in the opening half. Fisher looking over to his right, looking for Ducatoro again.
Yeah.
Incomplete, so
Yeah.
the clock will stop. But Tony did not pick up the first down there, so it is 4th down to go here for the Trojans.
Now that could be the big difference right there.
Because, I mean, Tony, this will be big if they can push it to 3 scores. And it looks like Coach Tyson, I love it, no hesitation, keeps the offense on the field here, Tony. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 2 from the 4.
I would look for a quarterback draw on this one.
So he's looking over to the left, now over the middle. He's got a man to his left trying to slip out of the pressure, tumbling forward. It's going to be close, Tony, but it looks like they got him for a loss on the play.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, he just had a little bit too much time, and if he had made up his mind just a little bit sooner, he could have had that quarterback draw that I so perfectly called.
There you go. Get you a headset, Tony, or a headset that's plugged into the coaching staff.
Yeah, man, I need to tell him.
There you go. So turnover on downs. So a big stop, Tony. I think it's more of a big deal for Fort Walton. They're able to keep this within 2 scores. So only 27 seconds. I think they only have the 1 timeout remaining, Tony. But keeping it at 2 possessions is going to be huge, because if they're able to come back and score with that opening possession, we've got a 1-score ball game, Tony. Like, do not write the Vikings off yet. Yeah,
well, you know, so far the Vikings have been definitely in this game, man. They're coming in, as we said earlier, with a record of 1-7, and but they're not playing like a 1-17.
There you go. They came to win, Tony.
Yeah, gonna keep it on the ground, going to a no conflict. We call that a no conflict stance.
There you go. They put in the backup quarterback, Garrison Kurtz, the 6'1 junior, in there to take a knee, Tony. And he doesn't need to take another one unless somebody called a timeout. The clock is currently stopped at 13 seconds.
Yeah.
They're trying to wind the clock, and they get it back rolling. And, yeah, play clock at 25, so this is going to finish the half. Waiting for that buzzer. There we go, Tony. Officially halftime here at Gene Cox Stadium. So what we're going to do, Tony, we got to do some business here. Jump out for some commercials. And we'll come back here for the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week after halftime here. And a quick commercial break, give you a recap of the first half. And, Tony, you know we want to go around the bend.
Most definitely so.
Get you some previews of the other area games going on here. Andrew Jupe, Tony Williams, Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. Come right on back.
When you're a star high school student athlete, you compete tirelessly on the court and in the classroom to achieve your one dream of playing in college. Top schools recruit you and even offer you a scholarship. Then senior year hits, and you find out that the class you took actually doesn't count. Your GPA is .25 off, or your SAT score is 10 points too low. All because your counselor, your coach, and your parents couldn't make sense of the rules. And by the time you find out, it was too late to catch up. Boom. Game over. Honest Game is the clear pathway for getting in. We automate the process so the student, the parent, the coach, the counselor, and the college all get real-time eligibility updates. With Honest Game, everyone knows what to do before it's too late. In the last 20 years, total athletic scholarship money has grown from $2.5 million to over $3 billion. With the NCAA on the verge of allowing student athletes to
And we're back here for the Varsity Sports Network. We had to pop back in for some halftime festivities. They're honoring the old Lincoln High School here, Tony.
Yeah, man.
Willie Ellis, the class of 1968.
And I tell you what, those were some athletes that attended the old Lincoln High School back in the day, man. I can tell you, I think I may have told you this story once before. My brother actually played in the Lincoln High School Tiger Band back in the day. And I used to love the way those guys marched. And now here's some of the old athletes. I think that school was closed. That school was closed back in about '69.
Absolutely, Tony. And like they said, it was the first high school available for African Americans here in Leon County.
And one of three that were available to African American students throughout the state of Florida.
There you go. And so cool honoring and remembrance of the past going here, Tony. And this is largely a credit to the director of football operations here, Coach Yeomans, has really emphasized linking the past, the historic past of Lincoln Trojans, and the phenomenal present that we have. So really cool gesture of some of the old players being honored here.
Yeah, you have to tip your hat, Sal. Tip your hat to Coach Yeoman. And, you know, we've been having sort of celebratory occasions throughout the season so far, as Lincoln High School has definitely been on top of the connection between the old Lincoln and the new Lincoln.
Absolutely. So great gesture here by the football program, Tony, like we said, linking the past and remembering where they came from, Tony, because if we forget the past, we will repeat our mistakes, my man. So cool to see things going forward. And like you said, Tony, a lot of great, not only football players, but a lot of great guys coming up through the old Lincoln High School. So very cool to see them honored here at halftime. And everybody grouping in for a picture there, Tony. And I love those colors. There's some regalness to that.
That blue and white.
To that blue and white, man.
But you know what? For some reason, as I was only a young kid at the time, but for some reason I always thought it was blue and gold.
Perhaps the raw middle school was bleeding in there a little bit, Tony.
Could very well be.
Gold for there.
Could very well be. are just, you know, being 100 years ago, my memory just doesn't serve me as well.
So once again, honoring old Lincoln High School here, the Tigers in the blue and white. Of course, now known as the Trojans here in the green and gold. But a cool effort here at halftime for Lincoln, remembering the past. So we're going to jump out for, once again, our activities, but we had to break back in and get you that here, Tony. So we're going to, once again, take a quick little breather here and come back on the other side. A little first half recap and go around the bend here on the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week.
There's not a lot of places you can go where exactly what they put on their signs is exactly what you get in your food. So many people think that the way I eat and the way I train and a lot of things I do in life are because of sports. I want to be as healthy 50 years from now because every day that God gives me, I want to make the most of that.
Clean juice, healthy, fast, organic food.
Is Sports Thread, and this is the new free Sports Thread app, changing recruiting forever.
Once again, here we go. Know the name, know the flow.
The first social network made for athletes, where you can show your talent.
Thought I was weak, huh? You ain't see the work I put in all week, huh?
And where you can be seen by athletes, fans, and coaches nationwide. Upload all your stats to the app. Get exposure to college coaches. Get clout. And get certified with a check mark that will change your life. Join the squad. Download the Sports Thread app today. Sports Thread, it's always free. Is Sports Thread, and this is the new free Sports Thread app, changing recruiting forever.
Once again, here we go. Know the name, know the flow.
The first social network made for athletes, where you can show your talent.
Thought I was weak, huh? You ain't see the work I put in all week, huh?
And where you can be seen by athletes, fans, and coaches nationwide. Upload all your stats to the app. Get exposure to college coaches. Get clout. And get certified with a check mark that will change your life. Join the squad. Download the Sports Thread app today. Sports Thread, it's always free.
Moss Acura is simply the best around, and this year our goal is to be the best Acura dealership in the nation. At Moss Acura, every vehicle features Moss Care, exclusive to Moss Acura. MossCare provides added features and benefits to both protect and enhance your investment. Benefits such as lifetime oil changes, tire rotations, identity protection, and so much more. Plus, with all things being equal, our goal is to never lose your business over price with our best deal guarantee. Moss Acura, whatever it takes. Moss Nissan is simply the best around when it comes to selling or trading your vehicle. Right from the comfort of your home, office, or even your cell phone, you can get top dollar for your vehicle in seconds. Just visit us online, enter your current vehicle's license plate number, VIN number, or year, make, and model, and receive top dollar in seconds. We'll even come to you with a check in hand. It's that simple. Turn your car into a pile of cash today. Moss Nissan, whatever it takes.
Let's get back to living and let White as Snow Cleaning and More help you along the way. White as Snow Cleaning and More is committed to a higher standard of clean. Our staff is both professional and dependable. Whether it's residential or commercial, no job is too big nor too small. Call us for a free estimate, 850-866-2031. White as Snow Cleaning and More is committed to a higher standard of clean so you can get back to living.
When you're a star high school student athlete, you compete tirelessly on the court and in the classroom to achieve your one dream of playing in college. Top schools recruit you and even offer you a scholarship. Then senior year hits, and you find out that the class you took actually doesn't count. Your GPA is .25 off, or your SAT score is 10 points too low. All because your counselor, your coach, and your parents couldn't make sense of the rules. And by the time you find out, it was too late to catch up. Boom. Game over. Honest Game is the clear pathway for getting in. We automate the process so the student, the parent, the coach, the counselor, and the college all get real-time eligibility updates. With Honest Game, everyone knows what to do before it's too late. In the last 20 years, total athletic scholarship money has grown from $2.5 million to over $3 billion. With the NCAA on the verge of allowing student athletes to earn money on their likeness, recruits and college coaches will more than ever need to know their eligibility status. Learn more at honestgame.com and let the dream live on.
Is SportsThread, and this is the new free SportsThread app, changing recruiting forever.
Once again, here we go. Know the name, know the flow.
The first social network made for athletes, where you can show your talent.
Thought I was weak, huh? You ain't see the work I put in all week, huh?
And where you can be seen by athletes, fans, and coaches nationwide. Upload all your stats to the app. Get exposure to college coaches. Get clout. And get certified with a check mark that will change your life. Join the squad. Download the SportsThread app today. SportsThread, it's always free.
There's not a lot of places you can go where exactly what they put on their signs is exactly what you get in your food. So many people think that the way I eat and the way I train and a lot of things I do in life are because of sports. I want to be as healthy 50 years from now because every day that God gives me, I want to make the most of that.
Clean juice, healthy, fast, organic food.
Moss Acura is simply the best around, and this year our goal is to be the best Acura dealership in the nation. At Moss Acura, every vehicle features Moss Care, exclusive to Moss Acura. Moss Care provides added features and benefits to both protect and enhance your investment. Benefits such as lifetime oil changes, tire rotations, identity protection, and so much more. Plus, with all things being equal, our goal is to never lose your business over price with our best deal guarantee. Moss Acura, whatever it takes.
And welcome back to halftime here on Kickoff Stadium as the Fort Walton Beach Vikings and the Lincoln Trojans are doing battle. It's been a close game so far. 14-0 is the halftime lead for Lincoln Trojans. Got it all started off with a bootleg over, well, I tell you what, Copeland was the one that made the first touchdown for Lincoln Trojans, followed by Madry on that second touchdown to take an early 14-0 lead. But it's been a tough game as the Vikings, who have not won a game so far this year, going against a district foe, Lincoln, who comes in with a 6-2 record. And Lincoln has had their hands full. What we thought would be a pretty easy game for Lincoln has turned into a dogfight against these Vikings. And they are definitely doing their thing. We're on the south side of Tallahassee, Kickoff Stadium, on a Thursday night, the first game of a doubleheader that we will be broadcasting. Tomorrow night, it's going to be Leon versus Charles. Tony Williams, along with Andrew Jupe, and the Lincoln Trojan High School Marching Band has just exited the field, and we are almost ready for the start of the second half of this football game. Lincoln, of course, being led by their senior quarterback, Perry Fisher, who's already committed to the University of Maryland, and he's showing the reason why, I should say, that the Maryland Terrapins have picked him up. Of course, Perry Fisher stands 6'3", 175 pounds, and he has himself a very, very strong arm. And Andrew, I tell you what, these guys are playing lights-out football as far as the Vikings defense is concerned, able to keep the Lincoln Trojans off the board. It could have been a 21-0 game, but some unfortunate circumstances and some tough defense by the Vikings have kept them very close, and they're going to start the second half with the ball.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, Tony. Yeah, so there have been spurts, and I think Lincoln in the passing game, especially in the middle of the field, Tony, they've kind of been able to have their way against Fort Walton. But when it comes to the rushing and some of the other stuff on the perimeter, yeah, your point is correct. Of course, talking about the success of the Vikings, Tony, I think the more is the turnover as we looked at that. Tony, was a 7-0 lead, and Fort Walton Beach was in possession of the football. They were having their best drive of the game. They turned it over, Tony, and it turned into a Lincoln touchdown, got you a 14-0. Could have Lincoln also had a touchdown pulled off of the board just before half, so we could be looking at 21-0. But, Tony, if we're looking at hypotheticals, we could be looking at like a 7-7 or 7-3 ball game.
Absolutely.
With Fort Walton. But, Tony, all that stuff is kind of irrelevant here because all that matters is the true final score going on. And so far we're halfway home. That's a 14-0 advantage for the Lincoln Trojans. But, Tony, to your point, Vikings going to get the football back to start the second half.
Well, I tell you what, Fort Walton comes in with a 1-7 record, Jupe, and I tell you, they have had some games where they've been blown out, but they have really shown that they have a lot of improvements. Some excellent athletes. Quarterback is dual threat. We haven't seen them, well, I have to put that into perspective. We have not seen him attempt a pass so far this game.
Yeah, correct. It'll be interesting to see, Tony, as we go down the line. But that's the trick, right? With your primary rushing offense, it's not if they're going to pass, it's when, Tony. And the timing, just like any good triple option, any good wishbone team, any team that loves to run and runs, 80+% of the time, it's all about timing with the pass. And we kind of see it with Childs this year. They're kind of in a similar structure. They'll run, boom, pass. Yeah. Try to gash you for 30 or try to gash you for a touchdown, and then go back to the run. and it's mainly like an off-speed pitch, Tony. Because if you throw fastballs every single time,
He's going to catch up to it
eventually the hitters are going to catch up, and they're going to start cranking them out of the park. So you throw them a little curveball or off-speed, Tony. As you can see, I'm in the spirit of the World Series this week with my baseball terminology, Tony. But, of course, going forward, man, they got to switch it up. So if they can hit them, that's what Lincoln's got to be disciplined for, and typically a very disciplined defense. That's what Coach Tyson's known in the area here the last kind of 5-10 years, Tony. But I think there's some success to be had for Fort Walton, but it's just tough with a run-centric offense like this, Tony, because it's hard to get big plays, and you have to go those full 15-play drives and make sure everything goes right, Tony. But they're not out of this, and
by no means.
Hey, if you're a Fort Walton fan or a Fort Walton player, that's probably the message being sent at halftime, Tony, is obviously we're kind of a pro Big Bend, but still as a neutral party here, Tony, I mean, this thing's still up in the air. And on the one side, Fort Walton, you're still out in this. In the second half, Lincoln, you got to close it down, man, because what do good teams do, Tony, in games that they're supposed to win or when they have the lead late? What do you got to do if you're a good ball club?
Well, you got to keep the ball, and you've got to just put your what do you call it? Your metal on the pedal.
You got to put the pedal to the metal, man. You got to close out, man.
Yeah,
you got to close out. When you got a team on the ropes, you got to have a knockout punch, Tony.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if Lincoln's able to deliver the blow. But still a lot of time before we get talking into those kind of conversations. Is like we said, Fort Walton Beach down only 2 possession to start things off here in the second half, Tony. So take us away, my man.
All right, fans, let's get ready for an
So
exciting
Lincoln
second half of Trojan
has the
football.
ball in position, ready for the second half kickoff. 2 receivers, 2 punt returners deep for the Vikings, standing at about their 5-yard line, and here comes the boot, and it's going to go to the 10. Here we go. Number 3. He's going to have, it's going to be a backward lateral. That ball is going to be gone all the way back to the, there's going to be a personal foul. There's going to be a late hit out of bounds on that. So that was basically a blown up play. And I see why they are not passing the ball very much, I tell you what.
So, Tony, they tried to give the old Halloween special a little trick play coming out of the second half. But, of course, they had it set up well, Tony, but just unable to execute. The backwards lateral goes out of bounds. And, Tony, I think a really, really raw deal on the personal foul. That hit began in the field of play.
That's right.
The player was working his way back into the field and facing the field of play. And, Tony, I think it's a really rough take if you're in a black uniform or if you're a Lincoln Trojan fan.
So the ball is going to be set up at the 25-yard line for the Vikings, and that's where they're going to start their first possession of the second half. And let's see if they can get that wishbone running and working. One thing that they have been able to do, Jupe, is to keep Lincoln's offense on the sideline.
There it is, and that's what they're going to have to continue to do. See how much clock they can run. 11:48 to start quarter number 3 here. And, of course, they absolutely dominated time of possession in the first half, Tony.
It's going to be a false start called on the Vikings, and that's going to push them back to the 20-yard line. Brings up a 1st and 15 for the Vikings, and that's where they'll start. Not the kind of start that you wanted, especially with that lateral being blown up. They did catch a break with the 15-yard personal foul. And now here we go.
So from the 20-yard line, Tony, when it's all said and done, 1st and 15. And once again, going to bunch it up, 1 wide receiver to the left, 2 H-backs and the fullback behind. And it'll be a throw on out to the perimeter here, Tony, and a good little toss there by the Lincoln Trojans.
By the Vikings.
Or excuse me, the Vikings.
And that pass was completed to number 48. It looks like Jason Johnson.
Mute me.
So here we go. It's going to be a 2nd down. Well, evidently that pass was not completed. It looks like the ball is still going to be marked at the 20-yard line. It's going to bring up a second down and 15 for the Vikings. Hill under center, and he's going to give it to his running back, who's going to go to the outside to the right, and he's going to be trapped for about a 2-yard loss. For about a 2-yard gain. The ball is going to be marked at about the 23-yard line. And it looks like there's going to be another flag on the field. Haven't seen the official indication as of yet. As we await the official indication. It's going to be unsportsmanlike against Fort Walton. And that's going to back them up another 10 yards. Ball is going to be marked right at about the 10-yard line or so. Right outside the 10-yard line, that's where Fort Walton is going to replay this down. Brings up a third down, and looks like about 25 to go. A little over 25. Oh, it looks like they've got to get the ball all the way up to the 35-yard line. It's now marked at the 10. So you do the math, Jupe. Looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 25 for the Vikings.
There you go. So here they get started. It's going to be play action here by Hill. Bootleg to the right, and they came out throwing, Tony. So second pass play here. This one, of course, incomplete, and it's going to bring up a 4th down. And, Tony, there you go. From the 11, 4th and 24, and there look to punt it away.
This could be dangerous territory for the Vikings because you don't want to get out of this game. Right now they're behind by 14 points. And here comes a punt. It's going to be a high punt taken by Decatero at about the 38-yard line.
And
fumbled the ball, but he was able to recover it. Lincoln in excellent field position with the ball starting, this possession starting at the 38-yard line.
There you go. And we got a little
little rain coming out?
Yeah, we got a little threat, Tony. It was going for about 20 seconds and then stopped. So.
Okay. Well, you know, we had a little bit of rain throughout the day here in Tallahassee.
But it looks like we're all good. I was hoping it'd all get through here. Almost had to go and snap into emergency mode out here. The people started breaking out the umbrellas. Rush here near side. Alexander inside the 35. Pick up about 4 there for the Trojans.
Alexander took that ball right off the right-hand side of the line. Was able to pick up 4 yards. Brings up a second down. 6 yards to go for a first for the Lincoln Trojans.
So you can go with the 3-wide set. Majory started in kind of that H-back position, but he'll split out and go 4 wide. Fisher, quick hitter out to the perimeter, and it looks like he hits Oliver here near side. First down, and on the brink of heading into the red zone here, Tony. So good pickup there by the Trojans, and they want to get rocking and rolling. It's going to be a give to Alexander. Rush in the middle. Will get just short of the 20. So it'll be about the 21-yard line. So second down and long coming up here for the Trojans, who are showing a little pace here in the third quarter, Tony. They want to try to get more than 4 touches of the football than what they had in half number 1, my man. 4 wide receiver set, trips out to the left. Lone man is Oliver here on the near side. Alexander shotgun right of Perry. Fisher going to get outside the pocket. Penalty flag on the field. Perry scrambling for his life. Breaking down 3, 4 defenders for Fort Walton. Stiff arms another. He's still rolling inside the 20. Look at Fisher go, Tony. Highlight reel for the senior. Yeah, but this one may be coming back.
This
Penalty
one is going to be coming back. A holding call, but I tell you what, you saw the majesty, the magic legs of Fisher as he was able to dance his way through the entire Fort Walton Beach Viking defense and score that touchdown, but all for naught.
Yeah, here come the Boo Birds here on the near sideline, Tony, and the
well, it was an obvious holding call.
Luck fans here, the locals, none too happy with that one.
The locals do not like it.
Yep. So 10 yards from the spot of the foul, of course, on a holding penalty. So that's going to back it all the way up to the 34-yard line. Tony said they got to replay second down, of course. So they have to get all the way still to the 14. So it's 20 yards to go as the penalty was right about the line of scrimmage. Fisher running for it again. Try to get out of trouble.
Oh, my
and look
God.
at the delivery.
My goodness.
They got penalized for the touchdown. It got called back. And Jalen Oliver says, I got you, coach. Let's get back on the scoreboard. The third passing touchdown for Fisher, the third different receiver, Jalen Oliver. In for 6, Tony, 34 yards out.
Well, I tell you what, Oliver, Perry Fisher, man, is just an excellent quarterback. And he just flicked his wrist as he was running to the right and was able to complete that pass.
That's all it takes. You can see why University of Maryland Special wants him. They're going to go for 2, Tony.
And they have it.
They get the mismatch. Zabisky runs it in. 2-point conversion is good. So it's not 21, Tony. It's 22-0 here for the Lincoln Trojans in the third quarter as they distance themselves. It's now a 3-possession game. We're going to jump out for a quick commercial break here on the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. Come right on back.
Is Sports Thread, and this is the new free Sports Thread app, changing recruiting forever.
Once again, here we go. Know the name, know the flow.
The first social network made for athletes, where you can show your talent.
Thought I was weak, huh? You ain't see the work I put in all week, huh?
And where you can be seen by athletes, fans, and coaches nationwide. Upload all your stats to the app. Get exposure to college coaches. Get clout. And get certified with a check mark that will change your life. Join the squad. Download the Sports Thread app today. Sports Thread, it's always free.
And welcome back to Gene Cox Stadium on the south side of Tallahassee as the Lincoln Trojans have taken advantage of great field position and have found themselves in a very good position, 22-0 as they lead the Fort Walton Beach Vikings. And here we go, ready for the kickoff. It's going to be a high kick, taken at about the 12-yard line. He's up to the 20, 25, 30, 35, and about the 32-yard line where he's going to be dropped on the far side. And so,
Number 9, Oswald on the return.
Zeke Oswald on the return for Fort Walton. And Fort Walton is going to start their next possession here at their own 32-yard line. Find themselves in a bit of a hold jupe. Right now, 22-0, and this is where Lincoln wants to start. So here we go. Hill barking signals. He's going to hand it off to his up back, and he's going to be stopped for no gain. Brings up a second down and call it 10 yards to go for the Vikings. As it looks like a little bit of rain is beginning to come down once again here on the south side of Tallahassee. It's going to be a penalty on the Vikings. Declined by the Trojans. Second down, call it 9 yards to go for Fort Walton. The ball is marked at the 34-yard line. A lot of motion on the part of the Vikings. And here we go. It's going to hand it off right up the middle to his big fullback, number 34, looking like Earl Campbell out there. That's going to be Jeremy Earl, the freshman fullback. 5'10", 204 yards. He's going to pick up about 3 yards on that play. Marks the ball at the 35-yard line. Third down. And we'll call it 7 yards to go for a Viking first down. 8:22 left in the third quarter. The clock is continuing to roll. 22-0 in favor of the Lincoln Trojans. As the rain continues to trickle down here on the south side, And it's going to be a quarterback keeper. He's going to go to the right side, and he's going to be trapped in the backfield for, looks like about no gain on the play. Tackle made by Lincoln's number 24, and that's going to be Jordan James, the 5'11" cornerback. And here comes the punt. Nice high punt, going to be taken all the way back to roll, takes a Viking roll all the way back to the 26-yard line, and that's where Lincoln will start their second possession of the second half. Looks like there's going to be a late flag on the play. It's going to be called against Lincoln. Not sure if that is going to affect. Looks like it's going to be a dead ball foul. And that's going to move the ball all the way back inside the 20-yard line. Mark it at about the 13-yard line. And that's where Lincoln is going to start their second possession of the second half. It's like that. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike call against the Lincoln Trojans. So here we go. Fisher with a 3-receiver set. He's going to hand it off to, he's going to keep the ball actually, and he's going to run it up until about the 22-yard line. It's going to be a change of quarterbacks. It's not actually going to be Lincoln. Lincoln has changed the quarterback, and it's going to be Arden Fryer, the junior quarterback, stands 6'3", 188 pounds. He's just going to keep the ball. On second down, he's going to hand it off to number 18, Joseph Sebeski. And Sebeski is going to pick up about an extra 4 yards, brings up a second down, 4 yards to go for the Lincoln Trojans. Fryer barking signals, and he's going to hand it off right up the middle, and it's going to be trapped right in the backfield for no gain on that play. May have lost about a yard or two. Sebeski carrying the ball for no gain. Brings up a third down. We'll call it about 4 yards to go for the Lincoln Trojans. Ball is going to be marked right at about the 29-yard line. They've got to get up to the 38-yard line to get a first down. Let's call it the 33-yard line. So Fryer barking the signals, taking over at quarterback, and he gets a snap. He's going to roll back a little screen play over the middle, and it's not going to happen. That's going to bring up a fourth down for the Trojans as they punt this ball away to the Vikings. So the Vikings were able to hold on this third possession for the Lincoln Trojans. And they should have good field position. Going back deep for the Vikings. And here comes the punt. It's going to be a high blooper. It's going to take a Lincoln Trojan roll, and it's going to be spotted right at the 36-yard line. And that's where the Vikings are going to start this possession, but 6:14 left in the third quarter. And we'll take a break as they take a break on the field. This is the Thursday night game of the week here on the Varsity Sports Network.
This is Sports Thread, and this is the new free Sports Thread app, changing recruiting forever.
Once again, here we go. Know the name, know the flow.
The first social network made for athletes, where you can show your talent.
Thought I was weak, huh? You ain't see the work I put in all week, huh?
And where you can be seen by athletes, fans, and coaches nationwide. Upload all your stats to the app. Get exposure to college coaches. Get clout. And get certified with a check mark that will change your life. Join the squad. Download the SportsThread app today. SportsThread, it's always free.
As we're back on the Gene Cox Stadium, as the Vikings are attempting a pass on that particular play, and it falls incomplete, brings up a second down and 10 yards to go. The Vikings with the ball, their second possession of the second half, find themselves in a 22-0 hole. Second down and 10. The ball is marked at the 38-yard line. As the rain continues to trickle down here on the south side of Tallahassee. Vikings trying to get something going. Here comes the snap. He's going to hand it off right across the middle to his receiver, who's going to have the ball in his hands, but he's going to drop the ball. Broken up by number 21 for the Trojans. That's going to be Jamiris Spates, 5'9" junior cornerback. Brings up a third down and 10 for the Vikings. Got to get the ball up to about their own 48-yard line in order to pick up that first. The Vikings taking their time in the huddle. 6 minutes left in this third quarter. And here we go. 4 receiver set. Quarterback drops back. He's going to be hit as he throws the ball, and that ball is going to foul incomplete. That was Jaden Simmons. Brings up a fourth down for the Vikings. As they are prepared to punt this ball away to the Trojans. That ball is going to be snapped all over his head, and he's going to have to rush to get it. He's going to escape one man, trying to escape another man, but he's going to be trapped all the way back to the 15, 16-yard line, and that's another short field for the Lincoln Trojans, and as they take possession of this ball game. 22-0 here in the third quarter, with 5:48 left in the third quarter. So let's see if we'll have Perry Fisher come back out at quarterback, or would it be Arden who took over the last possession? And it looks like Fisher is going to be coming back onto the field. The Maryland Terrapin commit has his team set up at about the 17-yard line. Fisher, 3 receiver set. In the backfield, sidecar right is going to be Alexander. He's going to hand it off to Alexander, who's going to right through the middle of the field, and he's going to break his way loose up until about inside the 10-yard line. We'll say he's going to be dropped at about the 7-yard line. Tony Williams along with Andrew Jupe, and I tell you what, Jupe, they're going to hand it off to Alexander again. He's going to rumble his way into the end zone for another Lincoln touchdown.
So 4th one of the game for the Trojans. Pushes up to 28-0 here, Tony. First one on the ground, though. Quick drive there after the botch punt there for Fort Walton Beach. And 4-possession game now.
Yeah, it's going to be sort of hard for a team that runs the ball 90% of the time to come back from this kind of a deficit. But Lincoln has finally gotten the thing rolling and going for the point after attempt.
Of course, Sabisky on here for the hold. Carter to attempt the kick here. The extra point is up, and extra point is good, so it'll turn to a 29-point margin here. And a shutout brewing here for the Lincoln Trojans. We're going to jump out for a quick commercial break on the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week.
Moss Acura is simply the best around, and this year our goal is to be the best Acura dealership in the nation. At Moss Acura, every vehicle features Moss Care, exclusive to Moss Acura. Moss Care provides added features and benefits to both protect and enhance your investment. Benefits such as lifetime oil changes, tire rotations, identity protection, and so much more. Plus, with all things being equal, our goal is to never lose your business over price with our best deal guarantee. Moss Acura, whatever it takes.
And welcome back to the Thursday night game of the week. Tony Williams along with Flash Jupe. Man, I tell you what, Jupe, you are showing your speed tonight, my friend.
Had to keep the equipment dry, my man.
Yeah.
Back to the car and cover up the camera and everything. So we apologize for the technical difficulties or the down marker being a little off and the wide angle camera shot. We were trying to protect the equipment, had to run back and get the goods to do so. So thank you for bearing with us here as we start to get some rain. No rain in the forecast, Tony. We got bamboozled.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, that happens in Tallahassee. It'll say no rain, but then it'll just wet you up.
There you go.
For about 10 or 15 seconds. And then disappear just as fast as it came. So the Vikings with their second or third possession of the second half, Jupe, and 5 minutes and 22 seconds left in this third quarter, they find themselves in a depot 29-0 against the Lincoln Trojans.
Absolutely. Tough one to dig out of here. A pre-snap penalty. Back from at the 40-yard line.
Correction, that's going to be about the 26-yard line. And it looks like there's going to be a mark-off against the Trojans that's going to put the ball all the way up to the – it's going to be a 5-yard mark-off. Too many men on the field.
Can only have 11 here, Tony.
Yeah.
Well, 11 and try not to get caught if you had a couple more.
That's it.
They're going up the middle, and it's absolutely stuffed by that Lincoln front, Tony. We see him doing a good job for – especially here in the second half. Goldborn, Darity, and Dudley, the usual customers in there for Lincoln.
Yeah, man. Brings up a second down and 5 yards to go for the Vikings. Ball marked at the 34, 33-yard line. Got to get up to the, looks like about the 39, 38 to 39 in order to get that first down.
So second and moderate here. Not short, but not too long. Under center goes Hill, coming with a little motion. And it's going to be stretched to the outside. And my mistake, quarterback Kurtz is in, number 15, the junior Garrison Kurtz has replaced Parker Hill, at least here for this drive. So potentially just a little change of pace here, Tony, not uncommon.
Yeah, Garrison Kurtz is the 6'1" junior quarterback, 180 pounds. And not sure they've attempted coming out of this second half, coming into the second half, they have been able to pass the ball, but of course no completion so far for the Vikings as they continue to keep the ball on the ground.
So third down here, about 5 to go. Need to get to the 38-yard line. They'll keep this one on the ground, try to stretch the perimeter, and Lincoln stretches it out nicely. Beautiful pursuit on the perimeter by Robert Wilson. Of course, Knight tried to get a little real estate, Tony, which you've seen do a couple times here tonight, but Wilson's read that book a couple times, Tony.
So you have Raylan Wilson and you got Robert Wilson. Robert Wilson on the tackle for that one, and he's the senior. Of course, Raylan, with all the offers from various Power 5 institutions.
Punt is off and away, gonna roll over midfield. And takes a couple good Fort Walton Beach bounces back to right about the 38 is look like where they want to pick this one up.
So Lincoln taking over at the 38-yard line. We had a change of quarterbacks on the previous possession before the previous possession, as Arden Fryer came in to replace Perry Fisher. And let's see, it looks like it's going to be Fryer back in at quarterback for the Lincoln Trojans.
Yes, sir. We've seen a good steady rotation. Last time we had Lincoln, Tony, back when they played Leon, we saw Fryer a little bit. As this one's give to Sabisky off the left-hand side over the 40-yard line. So you see the twos in here, Tony. Sabisky's in at tailback, and Fryer, like we said, which is looking to be the quarterback of the future here for the Lincoln Trojans as Fisher goes on to the next level next year. So 3 wide receivers set. It's going to be Madry in kind of that H-back roll, the left-hand side. Fryer's going to go with the keeper, and he's tripped up short of the 45, but he'll get to about the 44. So pickup of about 2, bringing up 3rd down here, Tony. And this is not atypical for Lincoln, Tony, you know, to bring in the quarterback as early as possible or in meaningful situations, because they realize, hey, more likely than not, this game's good to go. You know, they don't want to completely rule out a comeback, but they want to get meaningful minutes for the youngster, because just like they did with Fisher last year, they want to make sure he's good to go. And then this Lincoln Trojan team doesn't miss a beat like they haven't this season. Rush on out to the left, and a good stand up there by Fort Walton Beach. Number of tacklers in there. Nathaniel Ramsey, and a couple others in there for the Vikings. Jason Johnson as well will bring up a 4th down, and here comes the Lincoln punt team.
Well, more importantly, you know, this clock is continuing to roll for the Lincoln Trojans, and time is running out fast for these Vikings. If they want to make a comeback, they don't have a whole lot of time to do it.
Yeah, just about 13 and a half minutes. We're sub 1:30 now here in the 4th quarter, or just on the doorstep of the 4th quarter, excuse me. And it takes a Lincoln roll, and what a punt this one turns out to be. So a good blast there by Aiden Fryer to send this one deep into territory, get it out of trouble, and pin Fort Walton Beach back deep, Tony. So if they are going to try to chip into this lead, they're going to have a long way to go and a short time to get there. There you go.
I remember that song, it seems like, Ju. Got a long way to go and a short time to get there. So 124 left in this 3rd quarter. The Vikings are continuing. If the Vikings are going to continue to keep this ball game on the ground, it's going to be a long, quick night.
Yeah, at some point, if you want to try to get some scores on the board, Tony, unless they just want to try to break the shutout, you have to think that they get it in the air, as we have some penalty flags going after a short rush on 1st down there. But, Tony, this is a Fort Walton team that, you know, game of battle here defensively, Tony, and essentially the turnover bug bit them a couple times. Of course, the fumble early in the 1st half, and then a turnover on downs. 2-score game at halftime, and then the early misstep in the 2nd half, and Lincoln was able to get it up to 3 scores, Tony. And now a little bit of breathing room for Lincoln here, up 29, but valiant effort here by Fort Walton. You said coming into this one, Tony, not a 1-7 effort out here tonight.
Definitely not.
So good on the Vikings for doing so. Hill back into the ball game for Fort Walton Beach, as this one's a rush up the middle there by Ben Harkins.
Well, I tell you what, as this game continues to wear on, you know, you can just see that this big defensive front for the Lincoln Trojans is wearing down the offensive line of the Vikings, and there's just absolutely nowhere to run. Nowhere to run at all for the Vikings, and once they try to pass the ball, the quarterback is consistently under pressure. So it's just going to be a hard, long night for the Vikings as we approach the 4th quarter.
Yeah, it's probably the last play of the 3rd quarter here, as a rush on the right side, surging forward just short of the 35 there. And it was 10-holder on the rush for Fort Walton Beach, out to the 34. So it's going to set up a 3rd and manageable, Tony. But it looks like we're going to get into the 4th quarter before they have the chance to snap it.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
So there's our buzzer to head into quarter number 4. So we're going to jump out for a quick commercial break here on the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. Come right on back on the other side. We'll get you ready to rock and roll here for the final frame of action from Gene Cox Stadium. Lincoln 29, Fort Walton Beach nothing.
Back to living, and let White as Snow Cleaning and More help you along the way. White as Snow Cleaning and More is committed to a higher standard of clean. Our staff is both professional and dependable. Whether it's residential or commercial, no job is too big nor too small. Call us for a free estimate, 850-866-2031. White as Snow Cleaning and More is committed to a higher standard of clean, so you can get back to living.
And welcome back to Gene Cox Stadium on the south side of Tallahassee. The Lincoln Trojans and the Fort Walton Beach Vikings are doing battle as Fort Walton Beach has 1 quarter to try to recover a 29-0 deficit. They've got the ball, 3rd down and about 3 yards to go. The ball is going to be marked at the 33-yard line. Here comes quarterback Parker. He's going to try to option it out to his halfback, and he's going to be trapped way back in the backfield for about a 3-yard loss. And that's going to bring up a 4th down for the Vikings.
Absolutely. 10-holder on the rush. LaRoche and others in on the bring down. Mandra Lewis in on the scene, as well as the rest of the Trojan gang. And if you heard the PA announcer say, it's going to bring up 4th down, punting unit on here for Fort Walton Beach. And Ducatoro back to return, as well as Oliver. Oliver does have a punt return touchdown versus Niceville earlier this season. So look out if they get a chance to get a handle on this one. Looks like they won't, as it takes a Lincoln bounce on the Fort Walton Beach side of the field.
Yeah, that was a short punt. Looks like about 20 yards on that punt, actually, Juke. And Lincoln is going to be set up in excellent field position on the plus side of the field. They're going to be at about the 48-yard line. And the way these guys have been playing, man, I'm sure that Coach Tyson is not trying to run up a score or anything of that nature. However, the guys are going to be playing football.
Absolutely, yeah. They got the 2s in here, including Fryer. They have 4 touchdown drives by the Trojans, 15 of the 29, coming here in half number 2. Rush on out to the left. Flag coming in with Stevens on the rush.
And here comes another flag on the play.
3 passing touchdowns by Fisher to Copeland, Madry, and Oliver. And then the 4th touchdown was a Alexander Jr. rush. 2-point conversion on the 3rd touchdown, Tony, have us at this 29-0 spread here with 11:01 in quarter number 4.
It looks like it's going to be a personal foul called against the Trojans. That's going to put them back into their own territory. 15-yard mark off, and the ball is going to be marked right at about the 39-yard line.
Back them all the way up. So, of course, 1st down, they have to get to the 38 of
Fort Walton.
So it's basically a 23-yard conversion looking to go here. Fryer able to get it up near the 1st down.
And he's going to have it.
Ducatoro maybe a half-yard short. It's going to be very close. Ball currently spotted on the 38, which is on the 1st down marker. And there they go. Late adjustment, but get it correct. Move the chains.
Well, Fryer showed his arm strength on that particular pass and his accuracy, and he was able to put it right in there. And there he is once again to number 12.
Copeland once again with a big reception. The senior having a big day today.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, it's amazing, Jude, because we didn't see him pretty much at all the last time that we saw this team play.
Yeah, he got the 1st touchdown reception, and then, of course, another big game here. Copeland having a monster night on senior night. Fryer out of the shotgun. They go up-tempo, give to Stevens. He's going to rush to the right. Stood up at the line of scrimmage is Stevens. And once again, man to the scene, Tobick, the junior for Fort Walton Beach, having a phenomenal game. 2nd down going here for the Trojans.
Yep. So we're approaching 9 minutes and 40-something seconds left in this ball game. Fryer is going to take off and run by himself.
Look out.
And he's going to pick up about 5 yards on that play.
So good rush there to bring up a 3rd down and moderate here. Gets it just outside the 10-yard line to the 11. Fryer's got little legs on him too, Tony.
Yeah, he does.
I know you like a dual-threat quarterback out here, man.
Most definitely so, and I can tell you one other thing about Fryer. He has some accuracy on that arm, showing his arm strength and his accuracy earlier on the 2 pass attempts.
Watch the middle of the field. They've been eating it up in the red zone here. Fryer under a little duress, going to get outside the pocket, looking to throw, and he just throws it away, Tony, wisely so.
Wisely so, but he had 2 receivers open, one in the end zone and one at about the 5-yard line. And had he been able to make that completion, it could have been an easy walk into the end zone.
Yeah, I don't know if he saw it, Tony. Of course,
Yeah,
he had
pressure.
that D line coming in from that side, and the big line from Fort Walton Beach. They might have obstructed his view there. So, to your point, yeah, some guys open, but of course, a solid defense there by Fort Walton, forcing the throw away.
And excellent decision making on the part of Fryer to just throw it away.
So Carter's going to have a chance at it here from 28, Tony. We've seen him go 3 for 3 on extra points. So Carter trying to bang in one from the regular field and ropes it through.
There you go.
So break the 30 mark here for the Lincoln Trojans and go to 32, Tony, after the big kick by Carter. And he's having a solid season out here, Tony. Came in to this game kicking 91% for all kicks, including extra points and field goals. He's now 4 for 5 on the season in field goals, Tony, and he's now 30 for 32 on extra points. So the percentage is going up. He's a perfect 4 for 4 tonight.
Well, you know, Lincoln came into this game averaging 27 points a game, and they've already surpassed that amount, 32 points. And, of course, for Walton, averaging 9 points a game, Jupe, coming into this game, they aren't able to put anything on the board so far during this game. But, of course, they still have 8 minutes and 40, looks like about 45 seconds, 8 minutes and 40 seconds left in this ball game. The goose egg could very well disappear.
Absolutely, Tony. So a team averaging 9 points a game, but they've only been shut out one time this season. So even against Mosley, Escambia, Rickards, these good teams that we talk about, Choctaw.
Even Enterprise. They scored 29 points on the Alabama team, Enterprise. But, of course, Enterprise put up 64 points. So it just is, you know, kudos to the defensive effort of the Lincoln Trojans as well.
And we have a stoppage of play here as they throw it back.
Yeah, I tell you what.
That was a fun-looking one.
Looks like the men in stripe are not ready to go home.
Yeah, that's going to be a kicking violation of some sort.
Offside.
Yeah, on Lincoln.
Yeah.
But to your point, Tony, Lincoln defense looking really good here tonight. Of course, a couple of successful drives early, but a good defense cleans up its mistakes. Bend, don't break.
Yeah.
A couple turnovers, forced them on 4 and outs, Tony, and able to get the ball back to their offense in phenomenal field position. And it's been the name of the game. And I think this Lincoln team is peaking at the right time, Tony. A little bit of a slow start. They've gone through a brutal schedule. We talk about their games versus Niceville and Mosley.
That's correct.
Tony, but a big win against Rickards, and it seems that there's no let-up against Fort Walton Beach here. And Lincoln still 1 game to go, a big one against Trinity with a playoff atmosphere. Here comes Fort Walton trying to break one open, Tony. And that one, Oswald had a little crease.
Yeah, Oswald was actually about 1 man away from breaking this thing for a long touchdown for the Vikings. You know, we talk about Lincoln, man, we have to talk about some of that famous alumni that have come through there. You're talking about Buck Allen, Javarius Buck Allen, who played for the Baltimore Ravens and the USC. He was a running back for the USC.
He was on that, what was it, the 2012 championship team, Tony?
There you go. And you talk about Kevin Carter, who played
2010, my mistake.
Kevin Carter, of course, played for the Tennessee Titans, went to the Super Bowl under the leadership of Steve McNair, and was just 1 yard shy of winning that Super Bowl. And here comes another miscue on the part of the Vikings, and they're going to pay for it.
Lincoln makes them pay there.
Yeah.
Big slam down there. It's going to be Christopher Bailey, the sophomore, cleaning up the mess, and a big loss there for Fort Walton Beach. But good play by Kurtz just to get on top of it, Tony, because that could have been even more trouble. But the junior jumps on top of it and limits the damage here for Fort Walton Beach. So I like the heads-up play out of the quarterback there.
Hey, you know, and back to some of the famous alumni, Antonio Cromartie, played for the Jets, defensive back.
He's coaching Texas A&M now.
Yes, he is. And so B.J. Daniels was on that championship quarterback team. And he is now coaching, played for the Seattle Seahawks, of course. Came back and coached for Lincoln, but is now coaching for the University of South Florida, where he went to college.
Absolutely, made his rounds, a little XFL, like you said, won the Super Bowl ring with the Seahawks behind
Then, of course, you have the former Dallas Cowboy DB that came through Lincoln High School, Pat Watkins. Boo Williams, tight end for the New Orleans Saints. These guys are just loaded with famous alumni that have gone through this football program and success at the highest level of the game.
Yeah, they had a lot of good teams back. That late 90s to 2012 squads. A lot of good guys coming through the school at that time. Still some going here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have all the commits that are going to be taking it to the next level within the next year and the year after. So, Coach Tyson actually has a lot to build from. Coach Tyson, of course, a graduate of FAMU, and he's got his guys playing as well.
Yep, like we said, Tony, peaking at the right time. This is a fun-looking ball club, too, because they do exciting, too. Chunk plays, Fisher, flick of the wrist. They got a powerful, gritty running game led by Alexander. They can hit you at all levels. A really versatile team can win a defensive one. Tip drill almost taken away over there on the far side. It's going to be a turnover on downs, Tony.
Well, I tell you what, had he been able to, that would have been a pick six.
Terrell Dudley, the senior on senior night, Tony.
Yes.
Chance at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdown there. But, yeah, it'd have been an interesting one, Tony. But to your point, yeah, Trojans rolling here, man, and they're picking at the right time. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game next week, Tony. Against Trinity Christian. Of course, a highly touted program. They're down in 2A this year, Tony. They're currently the overall #1 seed in the RPI rankings of Region 1 and 2A. We'll have that game next Thursday, Tony, right back here at Gene Cox Stadium on the Varsity Sports Network Tallahassee.
Looking forward to seeing a great Trinity Christian football team.
That's going to be a fun one. Of course, they came to town, played Florida High, Tony, and that was Trey Donaldson, the big Auburn commit's first game back. And Florida High got the revenge game.
Yeah, from that playoff game from last year.
Absolutely. Trinity Christian, of course, ended the road for the Florida High Seminoles and able to get revenge. And you talk about another team, Tony, depending on who you talk to, those are probably going to be the first two teams out of somebody's mouth, Tony. If they asked you who the best team in the Big Bend was, they'd probably be talking Lincoln or probably be talking Florida High, as Fryer gets out of trouble here and scampers out of bounds in the area of the first down marker.
Well, you can't forget some of the best teams. As you got to put Rickers in there as well.
Absolutely, yeah. That's probably your big three, Tony.
That's your big three right there.
Rickards, Lincoln, Florida High.
Yeah.
Some other teams emerging. Can't forget about small ball either, Tony. I got to throw Monroe and JP2 and Madison definitely into the conversation.
And I tell you what, truth be told, JP2 may have the most talented football team in the Big Bend. Arguably, you never know, because they haven't been playing these bigger schools. But I would love to see a Lincoln and JP2 hook up. JP2 definitely has talent.
Absolutely.
And, of course, Monroe. The Bobcats out there in Quincy, Florida, always in the last couple of years been one of the tops in the state.
Yeah, Tony, that's going to be a fun one. And I think the thesis of our conversation here is Region 1 and 2A is going to be insane. North Florida is going to have arguably the most loaded bracket in
the lower classifications?
4A down,
4A
I'd say,
down,
Tony,
I would say so, too.
5A in South Florida is an absolutely insane region. So is 6A, so I don't want to throw in some hyperbole, but you talk about Trinity Christian, currently the #1 seed, University Christian, also out of Jacksonville, the #2, and then you're looking at JP2 and Monroe is probably your 3 and 4s.
That's right.
And then you throw NFC in there, 8-time state championship, Tony.
Hey.
That is going to be an insane 6-team 2A Region 1. Here, you got to check that one out here if you're a Big Bend football fan. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch down the stretch, but we still got 2 weeks to go, including tomorrow here, Tony. But Fryer and Lincoln here is sub-6 minutes. They're trying to close this one out for the Trojans, get some more playoff points. They want to go deep.
He wants to go deep with 5 minutes and 38 seconds and a 32-point lead. I'm surprised that Coach Tyson is putting this ball in the air. Sometimes you just want to make sure that no one gets hurt. You just sort of run the ball and get up out of here with the victory.
I think they got the youngster, Tony. They want to see what they've got.
Yeah, they want to see what they got.
The junior coming in next year because he's going to be driving the ship, man.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get that captain's hat on straight.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's understandable.
But understand your point here. 5.5 to go, 5:36, pressure on Fryer. He slips through. Second one's going to get him, though, and it's going to go down as a sack. And I don't know if he's going to get credit for the whole sack, but Tobick definitely in to clean things up. The man who's been all over the place for the Vikings. Darius Brundridge is in there as well. And Liam Dorman, the 6'4 junior on the defensive line, got the party started there for the Vikings as we go under 5 minutes to play.
Ball is going to be marked at the 35-yard line. Lincoln in heavy control.
Third down here from the 35. Need to get to about the 17.5. So it's about a heavy 18 to go, soft 19. And try to hit the perimeter. Good cut back in traffic.
Yeah, he was slipping and sliding for about a good 5 yards.
Yeah, man, that's a tough gain on the play there.
Spring up some fourth
Sabisky.
down. Sabisky, yeah, man, looks like he was about to spring an ankle out there with all those kind of moves.
He looked like those blow-up inflatables you see at a used car salesman. He was trying to keep his balance left, trying to keep his balance right.
Yeah.
And Sabisky, good job, though, of picking up what he did. Because I know if I was out there, same scenario, Tony, first cut, I'd be down, falling on the turf, face plant.
Yeah, look, and holding your ankle as well.
Yeah, there you go. So good on him for taking care of it. The next generation coming here for the Lincoln Trojans. 5 seconds to play. We're approaching 4 minutes. And I think Coach Tyson's just going to call a timeout here. And does. But, Tony, while we have a chance, I mean, we've been so action-packed here in this game, we haven't had a chance to really step away and talk about some of the other area games going on here. So while we have the stoppage currently, tell me about some of the area games going on this weekend that you're excited about, because we did have one canceled. It was John Paul II and Jefferson County was canceled here this week. But what are some of the other games that are going on tomorrow still taking place that you're intrigued about?
Well, I tell you what, one of the games that we're going to be having tomorrow night is going to be Charles versus Leon.
Look out, little rivalry game on a Friday night.
That's right, two big 7-8 teams. Charles, of course, with a 3-5 record. Leon coming in 1-6. That game is going to be right here at Gene Cox Stadium, so we may as well just keep all the equipment here, Jupe, and lock it up and come back for tomorrow night.
There you go.
Gaston County and Mosley are going to be doing battle.
Oh, Tony, you think the Jaguars can play spoiler on the road?
Well, I would like for that to happen. Of course, you know, their coach over there is definitely one of the guys that has a lot of pride, and I'm sure he's disappointed in the way that Gaston County's record has unfolded so far this year. They're only 1-6, going against a 9-0 Mosley team. But I believe that they will be ready to play because he has them ready to play week in and week out.
Absolutely. And, Tony, don't sleep on this Jaguar team. This is a team that led Lincoln for 3.5 quarters, Tony. They took Niceville. Yeah, they led Rickards for a little bit. They played them to a one-possession game. They've only had one game that's not been one possession. Phenomenal defense, good running game there. Tony, they took Niceville, who's 8-1, to overtime, and Niceville's only loss came against a forfeit against Fort Walton. So on the field, Niceville's an undefeated team. So Gadsden's no joke, Tony, and it's a shame that with the record they've played, they're a great team and a playoff caliber team, Tony. But unless they get a lot of help, unfortunately, it looks like our boys from the Big Bend are going to be on the outside looking in. But yeah, don't get the 1-6 record twisted. These are a dangerous bunch from Gadsden County.
And, of course, we have a very talented Garby High School going against Arnold. Garby High School, of course, only has a 2-7 record, but that's one of those other teams, Jupe, that definitely has a lot of athletes, and anything can happen at any time and on any given night when you're playing this Garby Cougar team.
Yeah, Garby's going to need a lot of help, Tony, to get in as well. That is a loaded 5A bracket that they find themselves in the midst of, and ball slips here. Looks like he lost the grip a little bit as the ball came out a little awkward. Kurtz on the passing attempt tried to find his bid wide receiver on the near side. Jerome Michaud, the junior here, Tony. But that'll be an interesting one as well for the Cougars. But we talk about some other matchups.
One of the biggest matchups that I see right now, man, is going to be that Madison County and Bradford. Of course, Madison County is always, what do we call them? The championship doggone Boot Hill winners of the year.
Yeah, Tony, they're just two years removed from the three-peat. They
That's
win
right.
17, 18, 19 state championships. So don't forget about Madison County. They're looking good, and they're starting to get things together after a tough set of circumstances in the earlier season. Is a good little pickup here.
First down.
Third down conversion, and a good throw by Kurtz, and it was Oswald on the conversion. So Fort Walton's still fighting here, Tony. You love to see it for the visitors.
Yeah, but I tell you what, 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in this ball game, and they are not giving up as they are coming out with a passing game. For 3 quarters, Jupe, we saw nothing but rushes. Now they are starting to pass the ball. Back to Madison County with a 5-3 record. Bradford 4-4. And, of course, Madison County coming off that big win against Columbia, big 8A school last week.
Slides in here for Kurtz, back to the line of scrimmage, gives himself up here for the second down. Yeah, that'll be an exciting one going here. Madison County's looking good. Got a couple teams down there, so it's going to be tough for them to get that overall number 1 seed. They, of course, have switched regions this year. Last year, they're in Region 3, so they will be back in Region 2 this year, which is a little dense, but they're probably, the way it looks now, Tony, the projections have, they might be our only 1A team to get through this season.
Well, let's just see what happens. But one of the biggest games that's going to be taking place tomorrow night, Jupe, is going to be Rickards 5-2 at Chattahoochee. Choctaw 5-2 as well.
Choctaw, little district game here, Tony.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. Rickards, of course, coming off that devastating defeat last week against Lincoln, but they are looking to get back on the right track and hoping to secure themselves a position in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, Tony, and this is what you talk about, a loaded 6A classification up here as well. Rickards is going to have to get some help to get in, too. And, I mean, Rickards as a team is sitting at 5-2. I think they're 5-3. That may be a misprint on our documents here.
That could be a misprint because I know that they lost. Yeah, I think that is a misprint, 5-3. But still, a very talented team that was just last year, Jupe, played for the state championship.
Absolutely, yeah, just 2 possessions away from a 2-possession game, from a state championship there, of course, going against American Heritage. I believe it was 21-6.
Something of that nature.
Was, of course, played over at Big Doak Campbell Stadium for...
and it was a chilly night that night.
Woo, yes, sir. I know you had the frost gathering up on the mustache there, Tony.
Yeah, man.
It's a cold one for you. Had to bundle up down there on the sideline.
Most definitely so.
So this one going back to Lincoln, almost had an interception, did the secondary for the Trojans, but that wet football and those wet gloves make it real tough to corral that football, Tony.
So you have Walkulla at Pensacola tomorrow night. Walkulla, of course, coming in with a 6-2 record, going up against a Pensacola team that is 1-7. And, of course, Walkulla is trying to make sure that they make a run at things during the postseason. Taylor County versus Weewa-Hitchcock. Taylor County, one of those other teams that has a lot of talent, Jupe.
Yeah.
They're coming in with a 2-3 record. The record doesn't reflect the amount of energy and effort that these guys put out week in and week out. But they're coming in with a 2-3 record, going up against a Weewa-Hitchcock team that is 3-5 right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a team that likes to run the ball, Tony. Weewa bringing the old wing T there as rush here for Lincoln. Oh, ball's on the ground. It looks like a couple Vikings fall on top of it. Oh, man. Surging in late, Tony. Late to the party, but life of the party. Elijah Cohn, I believe for Lincoln, somehow got underneath that one.
I don't know how he was able to get that ball from 3 men who had it smothered for the Vikings, but he came up with it.
Man, it's just been that kind of night for the Vikings, Tony.
It's been that kind of a night.
Lincoln stays in possession. Of course, if you're just joining us, backup quarterback Fryer in. A lot of the 2s in here for Lincoln as they run this one out. 90 seconds to go here from Gene Cox Stadium. Lincoln in control, 32-0. Rush on the right side there for the Trojans. It looks like the new running back is Jay-Sean Washington, the young sophomore. Gets to carry the rock here, Tony.
There you go. You know, this is what you do. You bring in those guys that play JV ball. You bring them in late in the season and let them get that game time experience. And he's only a sophomore, but guess what? He's going to be the future.
And shout out to that JV team as here goes Fryer with a little real estate, Tony. Over midfield into enemy territory. And how about that? We've got a number of dual threat quarterbacks on this Lincoln roster, Tony. But
yeah, man.
Getting back to the point, Lincoln JV team, Tony, going perfect this year, 7-0.
Wow. So
for the young Trojans.
So you already know that they are definitely building up for next year.
The Trojans are running, man. So, of course, they got the 7-0 JV team. They've got the mythical city championship here, going undefeated in the city. Of course, they didn't play one of the schools. I believe it was Childs. As Fryer on the read option going forward again. He's inside the 15.
Fryer wants to get into that end zone, believe me. And he's showing that he is a dual threat quarterback. We've seen his arm strength. And he's only a junior. He's been putting the ball accurately into the hands of his receivers. But now he's showing that he can run the ball as well.
There you go. There you go, my man. Yeah, I think it's Childs that the only big city team that Lincoln has not played. But they beat Godby, who has beaten Childs. So if you want to use that transitive property, undefeated in the city, Tony.
Well, looks like Coach Tyson is just going to be content to just let the clock run out. With under 20 seconds left in this ball game, it looks like Lincoln is in complete control. 32-0. Looks like it's going to be our final score of the night. Jupe, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely. Pretty open and shut case, Tony. Fort Walton, they did a good job of hanging around. I thought they did better than anticipated, to be honest, based on what we were told to expect and how the performance came, Tony. I thought they gave a valiant effort, but Tony, I think the score tells the story of this one. Lincoln got the turnover and some good defensive stops and largely dominated this game, Tony, and so deservedly capturing that 32-0 victory. And, you know, especially as a defensive coach, Tony, that Tyson's bread and butter has been built on, Tony. You love to see a goose egg on the other side of the scoreboard. The second shutout that Lincoln has had this season, Tony, both coming on Thursday nights. So maybe some magic to a little Thursday night football here, Tony.
Yeah, maybe, man, it may be. Well, I tell you what, it's been a dominating performance on the part of the Lincoln Trojans, and they showed why they are one of the top teams in this region, and coming in, improving their record now to 7-2 on the year, and having to continue to do their thing in order to secure a very favorable spot in the playoffs for themselves.
Absolutely. So that'll be a fun one, Tony. So, of course, Trojans going to keep on marching. And, Tony, before we duck out of here, we got to hype up the big matchup tomorrow.
That's right, man. We have over here in Gene Cox Stadium on the south side of Tallahassee. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. Gene Cox Stadium, Leon Lions, and the Childs Timberwolves.
Yes, sir. So we'll have the pregame started about 6:30. Kickoff, like you said, Tony, at 7. The big rivalry in 7A, so bragging rights on the table. Some old rivals, Leon and Childs.
And, of course, you can catch that game on the VSN network, and especially you can catch it on 93.3 Real Talk Radio here in Tallahassee.
Absolutely. So quick recap. It was Copeland, Madry, Oliver on touchdown receptions. Alexander Jr., 12-yard touchdown rush and a 28-yard field goal gets us to that 32-0 score line. Of course, 2-point conversion on the third one. And it'll put a bow here for the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. Here, Lincoln and Fort Walton Beach. So Lincoln locks up second in the district, Tony. Going 3-1 in their new district play. And looking good to capture either that 5th or 6th playoff spot, which means they'll be headed on the road in a couple weeks. But so far, so good. Lincoln peaking at the right time. They're going to be fun to watch. Anything before we put a bow on this one, Tony? And it looks like there's not anything that Tony needs to say as his headset goes out. So we're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you for joining us. Andrew Jupe and Tony Williams here on the Varsity Sports Network High School Game of the Week. Have a good one.